can't be active in the play. The other scenario is if I'm a one technique, and this is the center, and this guard is pulling, and this center blocks back on me, I have to hold my gap here until I see that ball vacate. And I have to push, pull, and cross base. And we're not in a hurry. Ole Miss put in a play 2 years ago called an insert play. And it was all because this nose guard was killing him in the game. This guy was turning and pulling, his nose guard was coming across the face, making the play over here. So what they started doing, running a downhill play, and that back cut it right back outside the A gap. So we want to hold our gap, be in a position, that puller goes, we're squeezing, now that ball goes, push, pull, and come across the hat. Okay? All that's got to be done with pad leverage, with your feet moving, and with separation. And it all goes back to the first component. Using your hands, getting good hand placement. Okay? And we're real patient on cross hat. Now, the one thing that I tell players, once again, it's like the double team. If I'm a cross hat somebody, I cannot give more than one step. These guys want to be superheroes. This guard pulls, the center's there, and they're doing this, trying to get across the center space, and they end up getting him in the back and caught up. So if I start a cross hat and I feel like I'm losing ground, I'm going to go ahead and backdoor it. That's the only time we allow them to backdoor the play. Okay? We don't want to be running around blocks. That's one situation where we don't want to give up ground, get involved in the play. Our gap is secured. We got this guy tied up. The backer should be able to flow over the top. So we don't want to lose ground and come back the other way. So on the cross hat, we're real concerned about how much depth they give up when they come across that guy's face. Any questions about the cross hat? I've got a highlight tape of some real guys doing this stuff. We're going to go up to B5, and I'll put the tape on and you guys can get a chance to see it in action. And then we'll come on back out for the second session. Yes, sir.
Do you guys have tape like this?
We might have. I think we might have. So guys, we're going to go right up to the bungalow B5, and I'll put this tape on so you can see the real guys do it. That's something that we insist. Or reach pre-snap keys. You know, we talk about the vision thing. See the man in front of you. Take care of level 1 first. Then be concerned with level 2. Okay, attack. You know, power step, punch, the below delivery. Okay, we tell our guys you must get your hands on the offensive lineman. Now, some people say, well, on pass, you probably shouldn't do that. Well, if you're running by a guy, you better be thinking screen or draw. Okay, we'll get our second step on the ground, attack with our legs, use our hips. We talked about the hip progression. Bringing your hips with you, punch, snap your hips. We'll keep our pad level down. When I look at the film, I should never see a gold hat above any other helmet on that line of scrimmage. If I see our helmets up, I know we're playing too high. We want to lock out and escape from blocks. Shed blocks, run to the football with a proper angle, be relentless in our pass rush, stay in our pass rush lanes, and so forth and so on. So those are just some of the golden rules that we ask our guys to adhere to. Now, these are some of the things we talked about on the field. Our pre-snap alignment. Know the down and distance, splits, light, heavy, depth off the line of scrimmage, and be aware of back sets. Those are things that we need to know when we get up on that line of scrimmage. Okay? We want to be skin tight to the line of scrimmage. Our head coach drives me crazy in practice. They're offsides. Throw the flag. They're offside. Throw the flag. We're going to get so tight, that umpire or that referee's going to have to come over there and say, Coach, if you don't back them up, we're going to throw the flag. And this helps when you get those offensive linemen that are 3 feet back in the backfield. We don't want to be in a position where we're taking 4 or 5 steps to contact. We want to get on them as quick as we can. So we insist that we get skin tight on the ball. Okay, we talked about the stance, three-point stance, near foot to the man staggered, heel to toe, or toe to instep relationship, feet on the railroad track, toes pointing north. I mean, there's not a lot of good duck-footed football players. You know, we tell them, you want to play in that position, go talk to the ballet instructor. Get your feet, this is where we do all our power lifts. This is the direction your feet should be pointed in. Okay, hips slightly higher than the shoulders. We talked about the Z and the knee situation. Hand just inside the knee and in front of the eyes. Tripod on your fingertips, free hand hanging relaxed. A lot of guys get up there and they're just ready. You're wasting energy. Relax that hand down when that ball snaps, then you get tense. Deliver a blow. We want our weight roll forward and our hips up under us. Now, the thing you got to watch out for in stances, some guys get their weight so far forward, now their hips aren't up under them. So when they step, they can't bring their hips. We want to make sure our hips are always up under us. We look for that angle. Your hips should be just above your ankles. But if you get forward too much, your hips are not up under you. And that makes a big difference when you come off of the ball. Now, jet call. I was talking to this guy. I worked with the 49ers for a couple of years as an intern. And this rookie came in, and it was third down. And he's like, what are you doing? So I'm getting, it's jet, right? I said, yeah. He said, well, I'm getting in my sprinter stance. I said, what track meet have you been to? You ever see a guy getting the blocks like this? Get your feet up on you so you can go. You get your foot way back here and you take that step, you haven't went anywhere. We want to gain ground. Don't stagger your foot back so far till you come into neutral. Get that foot there so you're gaining ground on every step. So when jet call, same stance, different attitude. Okay? Now I'm going to try to run by the guy. In my normal situation, I'm going to try to knock him back. But on the jet call, I'm going to try to run by him. I don't have to get my feet all screwed up. And key the ball.
Coach, question, which is the alignment on your jet call outside? Like if it was normally to 6, you put him in a jet call. Air?
Yeah.
Now, is he still responsible for that same gap?
Well, on a jet call, we're giving up the gaps.
You give him gaps.
We assume responsibility on the jet call for the run plays. And once again, it's asking guys to do too much. Jet, watch the draw, watch the screen. Okay? Can they jet and do all that? No. Jet, go. If they run a draw or screen, them skill guys. That's what they always say. If somebody run a draw on us, folks, the skill guys blew that play. But if we make a jet call, we want them to go. We started a new chart this year. I think we finished with 30 sacks. The top sack leader in our conference was 36. But we didn't blitz a lot to get sacks. But we want to hit your quarterback. When we played Washington, we hit. Our front four guys hit their quarterback 28 times. Now, when they went home, he didn't make it home because he had to spend the night for observation. And I mean, we're not trying to teach anything malicious, but we might not sack you, but we're going to hit you. And there's not a lot of brave quarterbacks in college football that want to get hit 5 or 10 times a game. And we hit that poor kid 28 times. And that's our goal. You might get the ball up, but we want to hit your quarterback. So you better protect him, you better 3-step drop, you better do something, because we're going to hit him. Okay? Now, the strike. We want to lead with our face and hands. It is illegal to use your helmet in football. Got that? It's on tape. There's my disclaimer. But there's nothing that says you can't attack with your face. And if you bite that guy in the chest with your mouth, then you're not in a prone position to get a neck injury. And that's what we tell him. You look your eyes right into his numbers. Then you're not hitting with the crown of your helmet. You're hitting right here. And you're not in a vulnerable position. So we say lead with your face and hands. Be a projectile out of your stance. You know, face and hands through the target. First step should be a power step, replacing your hand with your foot. Punch through the man, thumbs up. You know, your eyes should take you to your target. Golf, baseball, all those things that are contact sports, you got to see what you're hitting. Same thing in football. Even though it might be a target that's 300 pounds. Okay, our responsibilities. Our number one responsibility is to take the line of scrimmage. Where we're going with it? Backwards. We want to knock the line of scrimmage back. Once we knock the line of scrimmage back, we know we're in a position of control. We'll attack through your man, except in a jet call. Close the opposite gap, we talked about that. Veer release, anything like that, squeeze the guy off. Fold, that's the slingshot we talked about. Okay, and then pursue. And we run to the ball. I mean, I don't care who they are, they know they better run to the ball. We got a little pursuit drill that our guys love to death. And these are our reaction keys. The snap of the ball is our first reaction. Then the offensive line blocking scheme. All this garbage here, all that little fancy stuff that they like to do. We feel like if we come off of the ball and we strike a blow on them, we counterfeit all that down, fold, wham, all that stuff. The new phase this year is the wham block with the fullback coming in and cutting the knees on your one technique. It's a bullshit play, but I guess it's legal. Excuse me. Okay, movements. We talked about the step stunt. 45-degree lead step. Okay, we'll penetrate, step gaining ground, backside arm grab grass, stay square. On the third step, be able to react to the block. Now, everything we do, we want to play with our hips square to the line of scrimmage. Okay, till that ball is declared, we want to play. We take up a lot more space this way than we do this way. So we want to keep our hips square to the line of scrimmage. Now, I won't go through this whole thing, but I just want to show you a couple things. What I do, I have a section in our playbook for the defensive linemen. And when I go through that section, I tell them how to play every block known to man. All those blocking combinations you saw up there, it's written for them. So if something happens, I say, well, you got a scoop block. Well, Coach, how you want me to play it? Read your book. Read your book. Know how. If everybody's consistent and playing the front the same way, we're a much better front with 4 guys playing within the same scheme than some guy being out of his gap or, trying to be a hero. So every blocking scheme I just showed you, we have it drawn up, and we tell them exactly how we want them to take on that block. And if you read every one of them, they all start with the same thing. Get off on the ball, attack the offensive lineman, explode upfield with your first step, attacking the near numbered offensive lineman, get your hands on the man with good hand placement, neutralize the man on line, so forth and so on. Every blocking scheme, we start out taking it on the same way. And then we get into the little fancy stuff, cross hat and all that other stuff. So I don't want any excuses. It's in their playbook. They know how we're going to take on blocks. And what's important, like I said, we're a gap control defense. And depending on your alignment, we're going to put you in your gap. Like, we very rarely play in a head-up position unless we're blitzing or we're doing some type of stunt. But we put you in the gap you're responsible for. We can't make it any more simpler than that. So maintain your gap of responsibility, and we've pretty much got the entire front covered. That's why we're seeing a lot of Bama sets with 2 tight ends. Because now they're exposing you, they got 1 extra gap. Your secondary's got to get involved in your front. And, a lot of teams are starting to do that now with the second tight end in the game. But we feel like our front 7 should be able to handle any base formation where it's a 3-man surface and a 2-man surface. Now they bring the other tight end in there now, and the safety's got to get involved in helping us stop the run.
Coach?
Yes, sir.
Notice you got the shader tilt. Is there an advantage to having an angle?
Well, we play the tilt. I mean, if they got a good center, we'll tilt on them just to screw with them, to slow them up a little bit, because we go right through the neck of the center. We'll just collapse him, especially if it's a big zone team, because if we can flatten him down, it allows our middle linebacker to flow. We had a pretty good middle linebacker last year, was a Butkus Award candidate, and some of the stuff, we kind of did to protect him so he could make plays and win his trophy. But
How do you know which side to line him up on?
well, based on the call.
Okay.
Our tilt or our one technique's normally to the strength, because we play a reduced front. Okay, we call it our under front. We're going to reduce away from the tight end side. So we normally play with a 6, a 1, a 3, and this guy, we call him an air 7. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, but because of option responsibility and not to screw him up,